Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nadia, and in today's video I want to share with you a book that I found very useful. It's about healthy alimentation called Superbrain. This book was written by two Italian authors, Gigliola Braga and Massimo Donno. Basically, it explains very well how our body system is working. I mean, very simple words used to explain that. Also the hormonal systems and all the elements that are useful for our body in general. And it mostly concentrates on how we can protect our brain from elderly problems, like for example Alzheimer and other illnesses that are developed in time and basically with elderly age, but are not excluded also young people. So in order to understand how our body system is working and which are the elements that we should consume on daily basis in order to provide the necessary proteins, amino acids, fats that are good for our health, and how to avoid, or better which kind of products are to be avoided because they cause inflammatory problems and they mess up with our body and we don't even know that. I mean, it's very important to be well educated these days, and not only on the profession that we choose to do in life. Me, for example, I choose to work in the design world, so I basically work a lot with interior design projects and I decorate homes, but I love to be informed in other topics, and health is one of them, because today it's such a difficulty to find a good doctor when it is needed. So it's better to be informed which kind of elements is better to consume on everyday diet, which kind of exercising we need to do for our body in order to stay healthy. And so in overall we live a better life, a more qualitative life, because when you don't have pains in the back or on your head, or all kind of these problems that can be avoided easily if consuming good quality products. So this video is about that. I will also share what I found out useful from this book precisely. So if this topic is of your interest, thank you for watching. I must say that particularly on eating habits and sports activities, there's so much debate all over the internet and in real life, I mean with friends and family members, often controversial theories. This topic is very hot, like religion and politics, but anyways, I decided to share my own opinion, and also based on this book I want to share which kind of let's say rules I have adjusted to my diet, and it helps. It really helps. I mean, I am complying with some advices from the book already for months, and I truly feel myself better, and I also dropped in my weight. So there are some positive moments, and I thought it will be useful maybe to others, to other of you. So what we eat daily, what physical kind of activity we do, and how we cope with the stress level, all of it influences our well-being, and on the long run it may cause some issues with our health. So it may boost our energy level and increase our probability of being unhealthy until the elderly age, or on the contrary, it may cause some increased risks of illnesses, all kind of illnesses, from cancer to different kind of other problems. So from where I stand from, I believe that it is wise to know what kind of elements are good, which kind of elements are bad, so are to be avoided or reduced at minimum. Carbs is one of those categories of products that in small quantities are good, but when over 20% from our entirely daily alimentation is carbs, that becomes a problem. And for example, in my case, I love to eat, I'm a sweet tooth, I really love chocolate and sweets of all kinds, and pastry and cakes and all of that. I I love to eat since my infancy because my mother was such a good cooker. She prepared such delicious, pastry and everything that I got used with that from my infancy. And those things that you are used to eat from infancy are so deeply registered in our brain that even the smell of it, reminds those tasty and flavored things that it's very difficult to let them off, to take them off your plate. And with the years, now I'm over 35, so basically with the years you learn to contain yourself. That's the main thing. You need to learn to do the right choices, and sometimes it's difficult, but today I basically I consume this kind of products, but in less quantities, and as a general rule, these are the exceptions and not the everyday rule in my basic diet. So as Hippocrates said, we are what we eat, so it's better to make good choices based on what is good for our health, like conscious decisions. We need to learn how to manage inflammatory processes and train our immune system, but also protect our nervous system, and the brain is the main part of our entire nervous system. So if our brain is functioning good, we can do everything, all the rest. Different studies have showed that we can actually improve our brain activity in two ways: by exercising, so learning, for example, for languages, doing mental calculations, divisions, subtractions, additions, etc. So also learning poetry and different texts by memory, that also helps to train the memory on the long run. And the second thing is a balanced diet, so healthy eating in right proportions, of course, but eat everything: fats, consume also minerals, vitamins, and carbs. From the book that I have here, this book is concentrating mainly on researching products that stimulates our brain activity, helps improve memory, and also fights against inflammatory processes that can create brain degenerative problems, like for example Alzheimer, but other problems too. So the authors are explaining how different processes function, but also how the hormone activity is functioning, and are focusing on detailing which are the pros and the cons of each group of elements, from carbs to fats to minerals and vitamins and everything else. So the authors came out also with a plan of 21 days. It's called that one, plan of 21 days for changing the alimentary habits in just 3 weeks. A diet that is promising to improve your metabolism and help keeping, so on the long run, a plan that is mainly based on 2 pillars: to fight against inflammatory processes and also to maintain a low, or better said, a stable glycemic level. These 2 pillars are very important, both of them. So in order to fight against inflammatory processes, it's very important what kind of food we are consuming and also the quantity. And to maintain a glycemic level, here is a very important rule of proportioning the consumption of carbs. So let's dive into details. Now, to fully understand why authors came to this kind of conclusion and with this kind of alimentation regime, which is also, I must mention here, is based mainly on vegetarian, if not vegan food, which with I'm partially agreed, but not entirely, because for example myself, I consume all kinds of foods, including of animal origin. But I know that the latest years, maybe the latest decade, many people are shifting from consumption of animal foods and vegetables to basically becoming a vegan. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not, I don't know. I think it's a very personal choice that each and one of us must do for themselves, from a social point of view and also from personal point of view. I don't know, it's really a difficult, topic to debate. However, to reassume, here's what to be known. When we don't consume quality food rich in amino acids, proteins, minerals, good fats, vitamins, and which can be absorbed from animal food and also vegetable foods, okay, then our body starts to struggle, really struggle, lack energy, and consequently we feel tired, irritated, aggressive, incapable of focusing. So if you notice all these things on yourselves, then you should, ring the bell of alarm and take a look on, focus on what you are doing on daily basis in order to understand what you need to correct. So altogether affects the proper functioning of our brain, including but also of other organs that we have inside, okay? And even worse when we eat garbage food, and we know what is that, okay? It's like drinking sugary beverages and inhaling also all kind of toxins, not to mention, the fast food. So our body will be busy consuming energy to get out of the system all that bad fuel, in order to avoid inflammatory processes that comes with it. So in both situations, our main control system, the brain including, will lack the necessary energy to function properly. It's not that the more we eat, the more energy we have. In fact, it's quite the opposite. So it is important to balance all the nutrients and integrate those ones that are not available, maybe because of the seasoning or the habitat conditions. So I will not concentrate on the medical aspects. I'm not a doctor. I'm just a normal person as many of you. But I like to read a lot on studies and different books that actually advise you well and explains how every hormone is functioning and how aliments, different kind of elements, is influencing our system. So in order to actually make us understand how our body is working and what is good for us and what is bad for us. So by the way, the book is explaining very well these processes in simple words. That's what I like about it. And by the way, this video is not sponsored, so it's my opinion. So I took the content of the book as recommendations, not as a general rule. So you do you. Listen to different voices, by the way, read different books, and also listen. Today there are so many good channels also on YouTube, like Dr. Burns, that is explaining different processes. Often they are repeating themselves. It's like basically the same thing, but by repeating we learn more and we remember more, so it's not a bad thing. A good technique for everyday plant alimentation that this book is suggesting, and I also find that Dr. Byrne is also recommending, it consists of measuring every meal, including the breakfast, with our own first and also the palm. So carbs, use the volume of a first, of a punch of a first. So 2, when it comes to carbohydrates with medium glycemic load, like for example almost all the fruits. 1, first, when consuming carbs of high glycemic load, for example bread or pasta, rice, and also some fruits and vegetables that have a high glycemic load, and half a fist if carbs are very high, like for example sweets, all kind of sweets. Proteins, quantify with the volume of your palm without fingers, just the palm. It takes about 100 grams of products, for example. In my case, I do it like that in my own home for myself and also for my husband. So it's the same. Just for him, I will add some other things. And every meal except maybe the breakfast, if you take a bowl of raw oats with fresh berries, for example, the rest must be accompanied by a generous portion of leafy vegetables like mixed salad and other vegetables. And aside, integrate omega-3 and vitamin B12 if it is not already included in your food. And also, as a last thing, I would like to mention the fasting, intermittent fasting. It's something that I was struggling at the beginning. I was not even sure that it's working, but it is. So I want to mention it, you know. I practice two kinds of intermittent fasting. There are 2 times a week that I do 4:20. I mean that I use the 4-hour window to eat, and then I do not eat in the rest 20 hours. I drink water. This is, by the way, another very, very important rule. Drink a lot of water because it helps our body to function well and also to eliminate everything that is in excess to our body. So that's an important rule. 8 to 16 I do for the rest of the week. Sometimes I exceed on Sundays or on Saturdays. It depends when we're going out because we have that rule that 1 day a week we must do something that we do not do as a routine during the week. So we go outside. We have, of course, the lunch at some restaurant. Sometimes we exceed it, but it's once in a week, not more. However, the 8 to 16 hours, it means that you eat during the 8 hours of a day. So in this kind of time, I have my breakfast, my lunch, and not dinner because it's like 5 p.m. in the afternoon, but a kind of brunch, let's call it that way. So yeah, and I also count the calories. Because if you want to lose weight, you need to be very attentive at what you eat, in what quantities you eat, and also the quantity of calories that you ingest. It's not only the quantity of the weight of the products in your plate, but also its quality. Okay, so basically I tend to stay under 1,200 kilocalories per day during the 8 to 16. When I do those short days of 4 by 20 hours of intermittent fasting, I try to reduce it even more to stay under 700 kilocalories. It's not that it's, you know, causing me any kind of problems, but you know, I want to avoid problems. So in order to do that, I'm trying to be more diligent with myself and actually push myself into doing something, you know, more. And right now I need to finish my video because it's time for me to do palestra, which is basically gym, my 20 minutes of exercising. So thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you enjoy my company. In the meantime, stay well, stay safe, and we shall see each other on my next videos. Ciao!